I've always had an interest in shipwrecks. I always found them fascinating. There's a component that is mysterious, and there's often a component that's tragic. This one really caught me because it's one of the last really famous wrecks that haven't been found. You can find a lot of shipwrecks, but if you're looking for one in particular, that adds a whole other dimension. The battle between the Bonhomme Richard and the British ship HMS Serapis was ferocious. These two ships were fighting at point-blank range for most of the 3.5 hours that they were engaged. We had one eyewitness account that we read that said the blood and guts on the Bonhomme Richard were over the height of a man's shoes. And you got to keep going. And the ship is burning. Fire is your worst nightmare on a wooden ship in the middle of the ocean. I think it was just hell on water that we can't even imagine. By winning the battle with HMS Serapis right off the British shores, John Paul Jones showed the world that the Continental Navy was a force to be reckoned with, and it inspired the French, who are our allies, to give more resources to help fight the war. But I think most importantly, it gave the American people a hero when they really needed one. All in all, it's a really difficult task, and has been. And we've looked at, in our 700 square miles of searching, we've looked at dozens of wrecks. We've looked at thousands of rocks, geological formations that show up on sonar that look interesting, but you don't really know what they are till you really go and look at them. The wreck site that we have now is pretty much what we would expect of a ship that sank in 1779, a wooden sailing ship. So there's big sections of planking that are laying flush with the bottom. There are artifacts buried just below the surface that French divers located. And the seabed there is so tightly packed that divers could not dig with their hands. But that also means that any artifacts that are buried are going to be really well preserved, which could be a field day for archaeology. I think this one best fits what we would expect of a wreck that's more than 200 years old, that was really beat up when it went down. There just isn't much left, but there should be enough to prove its identity.